Batman, on my level, you could be the greatest individual in football history.
We are back with another video. Interesting news came out yesterday, innit? Interesting news, but before we get started, Ty, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Tuesday afternoon. I like daytime shows, man. I wish I'd have to work. When I go back to work in next month.
Depressing times, isn't it? Depressing times.
Yeah, like, do you know what? I would actually stream just in daytime and just get them done, you know? Yeah, man. It's good. I'm looking forward to this, actually. It's nice. There's been a lot happening. How are you anyway? You okay?
I'm good. But before we get started, make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts on what we're going to talk about after, and subscribe to the channel Road to 6K. And subscribe to Trafford Tunnel. The link is in the title.
Yes.
Listen, Matheus Cunha came out of nowhere yesterday that apparently United are linked with him. talkSPORT said what we've agreed a few or whatever it was.
talkSPORT, innit?
And don't get me wrong, I think talkSPORT have been quite reliable this summer, innit? When they said that talkSPORT understands, but this just, I was like, raw, no way.
Yeah,
like,
it was. You know what? Do you know what it was for me? Like, talkSPORT are hit and miss, yeah. But if it was a big name, yeah, I would be like, oh, whatever. But because it's someone like, I'm not trying to discredit talkSPORT, by the way, but me and you and other people, we follow our football. We know Matheus Cunha from his Berlin days, his Leipzig days. Like, it's not someone I expect talkSPORT to really know about, the guys on the radio. So when I saw that and Matheus Cunha, I thought, that's not a name you just make up. So that's what made me believe it more, because it's not the normal name. And I'll be honest with you, like, I was going to ask you this. This is what I was going to ask you. So you just answer this after me. But when I saw the news, I saw some fans like not happy with it. But I'll be honest with you, when I saw that and I saw Matheus Cunha, I was like, yeah, I like this. Because
well, what do you like about like the player or the profile?
I don't mind him as a player, you know.
Okay,
because he presses really well, yeah. But also, do you know what it is for me? We've seen already, yeah, and you might laugh, but we've already seen, yeah, in pre-season, Ten Hag likes to work with a forward that can link up play, be a team player, can press and all that. And Martial, unfortunately, fits that. Unfortunately for you, of course, fits that role more than Ronaldo does. Ronaldo's still a great goal scorer, but in terms of the way Ten Hag wants to play, Martial suits Ten Hag football better, and I'm happy about that, of course. But if Martial's injured, which we can't rely on, of course, 38 games, 50 games a season, we need someone that can come in and not make the team feel like it's taking much of a hit, and that the team can continue to play good football. They've got someone that can be a focal point, someone can link up, score goals, and is a good presser as well. I think he's got 21 pressures per game. He's in the top 5% in the world of football, which is incredible, really. So in terms of what he brings as a player and his profile to Ten Hag, I think it's a good move, man. And I know people say, yeah, it didn't work at Atletico, but it's not everyone that works at Atletico. João Felix has not exactly worked at Atletico, but a brilliant player. So for me, I don't mind going to get a 23-year-old that still has that, you know, someone says it there, that dog in him, you know. He wants to, you know, improve. He wants to impress. His best time's ahead of him. And yeah, man, I'm all for it. I like the name. I think it's different, Baines, to the traditional big names that we've been linked to in the last decade. What about you? What was your gut instinct? Be honest.
I'll be honest. I was like,
Charlie.
Yeah, big up Charlie. My first thing was just interesting. Like, that's the word that would describe it. Because I'm like, okay, you signed him, because I've seen him obviously for Hertha Berlin before, and obviously a bit for Leipzig when he was under Julian Nagelsmann. I'm like, you can play, for example, he's played on the left before, he's played up top before, and he's played slightly deeper in midfield.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that's a versatile player. But then I'm also like, okay, is he? Yeah, and right now it seems like Ten Hag is a bit more willing to let Ronaldo go. So I'm like, okay, you're bringing in Matheus Cunha, for example. I see you playing up front. I'm like, okay, that's interesting in terms of he's a different sort of forward in terms of, like, I've seen the Gabriel Jesus comparison straight away, innit? And I hear them to an extent, but I don't agree with him, kind of thing, innit?
I think Jesus for me is a bit more mobile, a bit more across.
And you probably argue Jesus is a bit more of a goal scorer than Matheus Cunha.
Yeah. I feel like
creator sort of player. Yeah, in a way.
He reminds me. Cunha reminds me a bit of like a number 9, little parts of Jesus, but Firmino in his prime as well. That's how I look at Cunha, like that sort of dropping into the number 10 role. He has got silky feet. He's good on the touchline. He can sort of do a bit of whizzy dazzle, whatever you want to call it, dizzy dazzle on sort of on the byline. I just look at him a bit of like a 9.5. Do you know what I mean?
You know what's interesting? The way I was like, maybe in a 2 up top, that's where you get the best at Matheus Cunha, for example, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then the problem is obviously we would have to change formation, for example.
And Ten Hag, I was actually listening to Marcel van der Krijt, I think is the Dutch journalist. I was listening to him this morning, and he was saying that obviously Ten Hag, like we know, idolizes his football and playing it a little bit like Pep. And he said one thing about them that you'll never see them do is play 2 up top. He actually said it this morning. I listened to a pod this morning, and he was saying like he likes the Marshals, the Halles. He likes basically a striker that can have the package rather than just a goal scorer, because he relies on having one focal point up top. And he says that wingers are a massive part of their game. And I don't believe that Cunha is the type of player for me that comes in and you put him out on the wing. Okay, he's played on the wing. I get it. But I believe what you said, Baines, in terms of Cunha, if you want to get the best out of him, I think it's more centrally, if I'm totally honest. Could he put Martial back on the wing?
I don't know, innit? Like I said this, like, if say Ronaldo goes then, Martial will have to be the number 9. And I always say this, in terms of, remember when people are like, oh, if Martial is injured, put Rashford in the 9. I always say, to put Rashford in the 9, you're going to have to move Rashford from the left. And then you're bringing in basically 2 people just because of that one injury. You're changing things up.
Yep.
Which is why I'm like, if Martial's a striker, he's a striker kind of thing. Let's stick with one position. If there's a real big injury crisis, then you know what? A manager's going to have to make that decision in terms of moving Martial to the left, for example. But for now, I'm like, nah, I just want to see Martial up top if that's how he sees himself. What do you think about this, though, the price? Reported around £50 million.
I
said
think
it might be higher.
Do you know what? The price, if it was me, I would like a 37 million. I think that would be like a fair price. 23 years of age, Brazilian. He's been in the international team last season. He's got 4 years left on his deal. I think that's what the big thing is here. In terms of 4 years left for someone that's 23 years of age, that's kind of like the perfect scenario for Atletico Madrid. He's not 30, 23. That means he stays to 27 if he was excellent in his role and they kept him. And I think he has resale value. So for them, 50 million, I think is good for Atletico. A bit harsh on us. I'd go 37 million because he hasn't really played and he's not really made the impact. But to be honest, I just think it's one of them things now, Baines, that with Manchester United leaving business till the end of the window, as you could say, the last 2 weeks, we had Ten Hag in April. We've only got 3 players in. And whether people agree with 3 players or not, or they're saying, they're backing what Ten Hag wants or not, because clubs know that we've lost our first 2 league games, they know that we're going to want to spend. They know that we're going to want reinvestments. You can see reports coming out that the players have gone to the owners or the board and said,
what do you think about that?
Do you know what? If it's going to encourage the board to get more players in, then I don't mind. At the end of the day, the players are the ones that are out on the pitch. And if they can realize that this team ain't going to be good enough and we need reinvestments, then you know what? If they ain't going to do nothing, then let the players go and do it as well. So I'm actually quite happy do
you believe that the players have done that?
No, I don't believe that they have, because I don't believe that 4 of them would rock up to. Do you know what? It's like a normal job. Would I rock up into my boss's room and say something? I potentially would. Yeah. So do I think that they could have? Yeah. Whether they have or not, I don't know. But yeah, 50 million, by the way, I think on your question,
you know where is the interesting one is that in terms of the players rocking up, it was more like if players were to do it, it would be the senior figures kind of thing, innit? So I think Ronaldo was reported, Bruno was reported,
Maguire,
and there's one other, I can't remember now.
Was it Shaw, McTominay, or Rashford?
I can't remember, but those 3 do kind of make sense in terms of Ronaldo, Maguire, Bruno being the most senior figures kind of thing, innit?
Yeah, because Varane's got the type to get involved in all that.
Yeah, so I'm like, it could be interesting.
Yeah, if it is true, I'm all for it. Whether it is true, obviously we don't know. It's reports, but yeah, 37 million for me. I think 37.5 million is like a fair fee for Cunha. But the position we're in, the age of him, the profile he brings us, he has 4 years left on his deal at Atletico as well. We've got to be realistic. I think it's still a good purchase. And money, Baines, I'm at that. I've always been that person where I'm like, it's not my money. The only time money really bothers me is if it's like 50 million, then that means you can't get X, Y, Z. So it's like, oh, we get Cunha, but we can't then get De Jong. Then no way am I having Cunha. Do you get what I mean?
Okay. Talking about money, big up Alien Tenor for the super chat. 50 million pounds for Cunha, 14 million pounds for Garner. Crazy day stats. The Garner thing. because I haven't heard your take on it, but yesterday I did say I think the Garner sale, I don't think necessarily Ten Hag would have wanted it, but I think he might have been like, you know what, I kind of do have to get rid of him because he's one of our sellable assets to buy in other players.
I think that is what it is. I said that yesterday on Trafford Tunnel, big up Charlie, who was on with me. It just looks too like for like, you know, get rid of Garner, bring in Rabiot. You know, we got rid of Pereira, we bring in Malacia, same sort of figures, whether it's 3-4 million out, it basically is like for like. And we've always known that we're going to be cash strapped this summer. Like we knew that the budget, I think the budget at the start of the season we're hearing as well was like 80 million, 90 million. Then you hear some people say it's 120, but really I think we're pushing that 100 million mark. And I think that's getting Martinez and then maybe De Jong, and that's our budget gone. So it is going to mean sales, Eric Bailly, Garner, which I am surprised about, potentially others leaving the door, and then obviously players coming in. But if I'm honest, man, like I'm disappointed because Baines, if I'm honest with you, when you look at James Garner, he hasn't really had a fair chance at Manchester United. He was on loan last year, and I know people say he's not a number 6, but I don't care. I don't mind if he plays number 8 or he's more of a box-to-box. But technically speaking, he is far better than Scott McTominay. So I don't get how Scott McTominay can remain at the club just because maybe he's 6 foot and he waves his wand around at the pitch, you know what I'm saying, and comes into training early. James Garner is better than McTominay. So I don't get how the club are like, let's get rid of Garner and let's keep McTominay. But obviously, this just sums up the club, if I'm honest.
But I think that's because Scott McTominay isn't a like sellable asset for them kind of thing, isn't it?
Maybe,
like, realistically,
maybe they realise that they can't sell him.
Yeah, who are you going to get more money for Garner and McTominay? The answer is Garner. And I said this, like, I don't mind Garner leaving because I'm not the biggest fan of Garner, even though I still do think he's better than Scott.
He's replaceable, though.
Yeah. And someone said like, our buyback clause is a thing in the Prem. I think City have done it with a couple of their players kind of thing, isn't it? Like, if we do that with James Garner, for example, I'm not mad.
Yeah, that's a clever move. Yeah, potentially put a buyback in it. But I think it's better for Garner to go out there and actually, you know, show what he can do and go and play because he's not
getting a Prem move. Like, no matter what, because what do you call it? Southampton have been linked with him, innit?
Yeah. Southampton, yeah. And
Forest.
Yeah, Forest, yeah.
But it seems that Southampton are kind of like the front runners right now, innit? So that could be interesting. Big up Harge as well.
Yeah, big up Harge every single time, man. I like you on FPL, man. You'll bounce back, bro. Just keep your spirits high, man.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Oh, my days, man.
I love him, man. Love Harge.
Ronaldo, then. That's the next thing I wanted to talk about because it seems like Ronaldo, this is like the first time where it's like the club have changed his stance in terms of now they're willing to let Ronaldo go. Other than Joe Glazer, for example.
Baines, I want to ask you first. What the hell is going on with this Ronaldo situation? Because honestly, last week he's the best player in training. Next week he's the worst player, and he's leading.
See what Jamie Jackson said today,
and all that. Who?
Jamie Jackson.
No, what's he said?
He was like, "Yeah, Ronaldo's doing fine in training and stuff today."
Ronaldo's what?
He's doing fine in training. Like all of the reports are rubbish.
This is what I mean. Like, I just don't know if Man United had won on the weekend, right? So then this is me. Look, you're gonna hear me. Like, I'm not Ronaldo out or Ronaldo in. I'm Manchester United, yeah. And if Ronaldo starts against Brentford, which he did, and he scores, we win 2-0, he scores 1, or he scores the winner. They're talking about, oh, he was excellent in training last week, and his attitude is amplified on the pitch, and it's shown that the players are all willingness and together. You say that he's doing excellent in training, then we lose to Brentford. And the excuse is, oh, Ronaldo's moping around. He's eating dinner by himself. The other players are feeling, threatened by him. I actually got told as well yesterday that the players fear him. Some of the players fear him. That's what I was actually told yesterday. I couldn't even tweet it.
But I'll be honest.
And I just think...
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. But I don't... It is a good thing because I think it's like this guy is trying to maintain the highest standards. He wants to get us back to winning ways and stuff like that. But because some people do fear him, for a new manager coming into this team, it just makes an unnecessary sort of split that he doesn't need. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way, because Ronaldo has got highest standards as possible. 100% agree with it. But for the dressing room and for Ten Hag to walk in and be like, some players are with him and some players are not, is it worth it? Okay, it's my question for you then. From that, Baines, is it worth it if Ronaldo, that one player, is causing that in the dressing room? Or is it better for Ronaldo to then get rid and then the whole team are then in this harmony together? And it's not me having to go at Ronaldo. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just asking you the question from the outside coming in.
I said this before. If Ronaldo wants to leave, you let him leave him. But at the same time, I'm not having players that are scared of Ronaldo. As I said, like before Ronaldo came, you lot were still crap. Like that's it. We came in, Cristiano Ronaldo, he basically called half his club out in terms of standards, for example. Like, for example, training ground, all of that nonsense. He still values himself very, very highly. If the players are scared, man, up your level then. It's as simple as that. Like, let me ask you this here, because it said like the players are scared. Do you think Paul Pogba was scared of Ronaldo?
No.
Do you think the Man United was scared of Ronaldo?
He wanted to play with Ronaldo.
Yeah. Do you think the Man United was scared of Ronaldo?
No.
Do you think David Hayes scared of Ronaldo?
No.
Do you think Juan Matt was scared of Ronaldo?
No.
Do you think Anthony Martial, for example, was scared of Ronaldo?
Not scared, but I think he's bothered about potentially his position because of Ronaldo.
Bothered, but he's not scared of Ronaldo kind of thing.
No,
He still respects him. Martial came out last year.
Yeah.
Do you think, like the younger players forget them kind of thing? You're never really going to like
Bruno Fernandes, of course, he's not. Bruno's not scared. Dalot's not scared.
So the senior figures, for example, in terms of the people that have actually won stuff,
the Luke Shaw and Maguire's.
The Luke Shaws, the Maguires, the Rashfords, the ones that should fear their place at this club are the ones that are scared of Ronaldo. But the people that have won stuff in football have never said anything about it.
Yeah, it's true. And this is the thing. We've actually only got, when you look at it now, even though Bruno Fernandes has the standards mentally, he's in a Portugal sort of team that wants to win and stuff like that. I believe that Manchester United right now, in terms of people with that mentality of wanting to be the best and upholding standards, big up Mina every single time, always supporting. I shouted you out earlier actually in one of my WhatsApp chats. Keep doing what you're doing, Mina. In terms of like Ronaldo, that's it. Sorry, upholding standards. Like Mina just said in that comment, funny enough. When you look at the team right now, Baines, and when you look at our squad, let's be honest, like how many of them are actually upholding standards? If you take Ronaldo out the side, say Ronaldo, just say hindsight, Ronaldo's off to Inter Milan tomorrow, 12 million fee agreed. Right, you're looking at that Man United team now and thinking, who's got the cojones now? Who's really got the balls now? Because I'll be honest with you, even if you bring in someone like Frankie de Jong, let's just throw it out there. Frankie de Jong's an excellent footballer, but he's not the type of footballer that's got the cojones, is going to be driving that dressing room and so forth. Matheus Cunha, I get it, good footballer. I understand that. I'll take him at the football club 100%. But he then again doesn't give you that sort of cojones. So when you look at it right now, if Ronaldo leaves, Manchester United are completely starting on a clean slate, because our captain of the football club is one of the players with the least cojones, is Harry Maguire, and that's who the players might not, think is the best, because of course he's not the best, but that's the one they've got to kind of go to. That's the one leading the team out of the dressing room, getting it the wrong way at Old Trafford, by the way, standing on the wrong side. All these little basic things and upholding standards and being consistent is what it's about. And none of our players are consistent all the way through to our captain. So Ronaldo leaves, we have got a problem in terms of replacing him, and what Ten Hag then has to do to then get that leadership and get that sort of that passion and hunger restored. He'll have to go to Varane, De Gea, Bruno, but is Varane the most? Varane's an excellent player, but is he the most sort of like?
He's more of a lead by example kind of thing, innit?
Professionalism, yeah. Then you got De Gea, who, I'll be honest with you, you would say had that, but his performances are making everyone now doubt him. So now the players don't trust him.
But even then,
and then Bruno,
like, I'm a big David Hayes critic, innit?
Yeah.
But you see his post-match the other day when he came out and said, I cost my team 3 points. Accountability. I keep saying it with these players. Some of these players need to be held accountable for their own performances. As crap as they are, for example, David Hayes has been shocking. I've wanted him out, for example. But at least I can say David Hayes takes responsibility.
Yeah. And I think that was actually a breath of fresh air, because I actually think he's the only player that probably would have done that. If I'm totally honest, I don't think any other player would have come out and said, I want to do the interview. He actually requested to do the interview. And
this is another problem I had as well. You see, after we conceded the first goal and the second goal, heads down other than Ronaldo.
Yeah, I saw him shouting, saying, get one. Yeah.
Like, you're playing Brentford. Like, I said this in the nicest possible way. You get, like, realistically, even if you got a goal or 2 down against Brentford, you play for Manchester United. You should still have faith that you're going to come back in that game.
100%.
You're not 100%. Beaten already.
And I think that is what it's like with this Manchester United team. You could say at the Brighton game, we started all right in the first 5 minutes. You could say in the Brentford game as well. Like, we actually were okay in the first 5 minutes. It was one of them, both them games were the type of the games I looked at and I thought, right, if we have a bit of penetration or we get a 2, 3, 4 pass combination right, we can open up this team, or we can create chances.
We need that first goal kind of thing, innit?
Yeah, we need the first goal. Baines, as soon as we go 1-0 down, I was at the Brighton game, right? And obviously the Sky cameras are going to Pascal Gross, who was celebrating. Obviously, I'm there watching from Stretford End, and they score our end. the way the heads dropped, right, and it was so deflated, you could hear a pin drop around the stadium. It was like we were 4-0 down. It was like we were 3-0 down. There's nowhere to go. It's like they scored in 20 minutes. We're at home. Let's rally. Let's get going again. You know what I'm saying? Like Liverpool, they go 1-0 down to Palace yesterday, and the fans are kind of like going louder to try and respond, whereas we just all go, woo. And
I think
that goes with the players, and that runs actually from the players, I think.
And I think Jose had that. Remember when we went down against Newcastle 2-0?
Yep, we come back that
Players
game.
turned up. Old Trafford turned up.
Yeah,
but you also had big
loud.
people, like not necessarily that game, but Jose had the likes of Zlatan in the dressing room, Pogba, Matic.
He turned up.
But they're still big personalities kind of thing.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I look at this team right now and I'm like, who's the big personality there other than maybe like a few?
That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying. If Ronaldo goes, who are you looking at? You're looking at Varane, who's a leader on professionalism. De Gea, not trusted, and Bruno, hot and cold with people now because they feel like they're sussed out what he is.
Lockdown football is easy for these though, when there's no pressure.
No.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, because you're a Ronaldo critic, innit? Do you think Ronaldo's a bit scapegoated right now?
Yeah, I do.
Explain.
I generally do. I just don't think put it bluntly, I don't need to do an essay. There are 23 players in this squad. Ronaldo didn't play in the first game apart from the last 30 minutes. And then he starts against Brentford and the whole team's poor. It's not the goal. Okay, one goal you could say has come from him getting dispossessed. One goal, in 2 games. We've conceded 6. For me, I just think that it's an easy way to get at him, for the media to get clicks, the media to get likes. At the end of the day, he didn't play in the first game apart by the 30 minutes and we were poor then. He didn't really play in pre-season at all, so we can't even talk about that. And he's only started 1 game against Brentford. So if you look at our whole squad right now, he's played the least minutes. He's also the least fit because he actually didn't have a pre-season. I just think it's an easy way, Baines, you're echoing or you got voice in the background, I think. Yeah, it's just the easiest way for people to, get onto his back. When you're talking about Ronaldo, where I'm a critic, it's not about this media bollocks and what they write in the media about training and all this stuff. Like, I'm not interested because I know that Ronaldo is one of the hardest trainers and dedicated footballers you'll ever see. Where I'm like, do you know what? I'm done with Ronaldo. It's nothing to do with him as a trainer or whatever. It's just me saying Manchester United need to move on and what his ambitions are, we can't match right now as a club. So for Ten Hag and for this new cycle to begin, you might as well just start cleanly and start fresh. Ronaldo goes off and, we can enjoy what he's done last season and the years before that. And Manchester United can then move forward because if anything, like Arbiz says, it's just an unnecessary distraction. And it's not Ronaldo's fault. It's not Ten Hag's fault. It's the club, obviously, in the position we're in and we're not playing and winning games. It's just an easy talking point. So I think for all parties, it's just best we go separate ways. But right now, he is not the person we should be talking about right now. It's the transfer window. It is the Glazers, which me and you are very strong on, but we don't talk about it because we're bored of it. Until the club sell, there's no point wasting our time. And these players right now need to stand up and be accountable themselves. You've got players there that have been, do you know what it is, Baines? Yeah, and we'll come to it now. My biggest gripe at Manchester United, Ronaldo come back last season. These problems at this football club have been running longer than that. So where are people getting this notion from? The problems go back from Mourinho, Van Gaal, David Moyes. It literally is about 9 years now that we're talking and nothing's really changed. So yes, we won a couple trophies here and there, but that's kind of papered over the cracks because the next day we realize, we're back to reality. If Ronaldo had been here this whole time, okay, I'll be like, do you know what? You've got a bit of an argument, okay, because he's been here 9 years and maybe he has called us a bit of a bag. He's been here 12 months. The problems go back way before that. So we need to actually look at the real problems. Whether you want Ronaldo here for footballing reasons is different. But scapegoating him when he's played the least minutes, he's the least fittest, and there's other players that need to stand up and be counted. Bollocks, man. It is crap.
You think the club is like the masters of that, I always say it. Like, instead of looking at themselves, for example, in the transfer window and taking accountability, let's blame someone else. It was Paul Pogba before. It's Ronaldo now. And that's what I'm like, as fans here, you just have to realize that. And I said this the other day, it gets to the point where we can say all these 11, 23 players are crap. What are we going to do about it?
But they're not going to be able to be sold either.
Exactly. We can't just continuously blame the players week in, week out, for example, even though we know the players ain't good enough if they're still going to be here, for example. And right now, like the Ronaldo thing, come on, man. Ronaldo's eating alone. Flipping hell!
It's mad that it's actually news, isn't it?
Like you're telling me that's news. I eat alone every day.
Can you get up that comment 230? That's quite an interesting one because Biz was saying this to me the other day. So Kenshi one above. All I know is when he wasn't around last season, we started all right. Then he came. This preseason, when he wasn't around, we were all right. Then he came. They sent FIFA. His team chemistry is off. So
okay, let me explain this.
Biz said this to me, so I want you to answer this. Yeah, because basically Biz was basically saying, look at our performances pre-season, and then obviously, yeah, we still lost Atletico and Villa, but he's like, look at the harmony now when he's back, which we'll touch on tomorrow. But yeah, what's your answer to this? I want you to answer.
Okay, against Aston Villa when we drew, for example, was Ronaldo there?
Nope.
Why didn't we win if the team harmony was so good? Ronaldo was there.
Kenshi, this is for you.
No, but I'm saying this like even before, for example, when the games that Ronaldo didn't play last year, did we win any of them?
No, I don't think we did actually.
Like I said, this like it's bigger than just one player now. There's no point blaming Ronaldo. There's no point blaming Maguire, De Gea, etc. You could argue they're all at fault with their performances, but they're not the sole reasons.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, for example, about team harmony, what was the reason that team harmony was so bad in the Jose's third season, for example? Or even his second season? Because the second season, even though we came second, the team harmony weren't there.
Do you know this notion, that Ronaldo, despite being such a great player, he is quite hot and cold with people. Whether people agree or not, he seems to have this aura about him that some people will take to him and some people won't.
Just quickly, Casemiro links ain't true. There's no way we're getting Casemiro.
No way, they ain't selling him. No way. Yeah, do you genuinely in your hearts of hearts believe that Ronaldo does cause a little bit of a rift? And maybe it's not even him being intentional about it. Do you just believe that he does have that aura wherever he is? There's some players that will take to him and some that don't. You look at Bonucci and Chiellini, the way they spoke about him. These are figures, by the way, Chiellini and Bonucci, that I'd probably say in the world of football, if you had to give me 15 players to pick that won't be bothered about anything in the dressing room, Chiellini is 100% one of them. That guy don't give an F. Sergio Ramos, them players, they don't give an F. So for Chiellini to come out and say, oh, when Ronaldo left, it was like a weight off the dressing room or people were back themselves and that. If Chiellini
he puts pressure.
Imagine, but hear me out. If someone like Chiellini saying that, imagine what other players who are thinking, because they're not as strong-minded as someone like Chiellini. I'm not saying this is Ronaldo's fault, but I'm asking you, do you think this is an issue?
He's a winner. Juve one, you could argue, is a bit different in terms of there were still certain winners, for example, in that dressing room, certain players. Let's be honest, Juve were going for a rebuild. Now, I don't think people realize that Juve team that was reaching Champions League finals was on a decline. At Real, then what was the problem with Ronaldo? Because no one had the problem with Ronaldo. He's a winner. He was matched with winners. The mentality is elite at Real, for example. United, first time, he was part of a lot of winners.
Yeah. I actually just think, do you know what? These problems are going to continue for a long time. I don't really know what we're... Sorry, Baines.
And someone said Jose started fights with players and asking who the problem was. But the thing is that like people keep saying it was Jose. LVG done the same thing. Moyes done the same thing. How comes every single person has had a problem? Like I said this to you the other day, They get to a point where people need to stop blaming the employees. You can blame Ten Hag, LVG, Jose, Oli, Ralph, Richard Arnold, Melto, recruitment team, all of that stuff. What times do you have to say, you know what, forget the employees. We know the employees are making mistakes and look at the employers. That's clearly the biggest problem.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm like, there's no point singling out employees at this point right now.
And you know what? It's funny, because I said this to my boy. It's funny because the Glazers, I think they've been in since 2005 or 6. I was quite young then. It was 2005 or 6. And funny enough, like the club has been on a downward spiral since Ferguson left. And I said, imagine we didn't have Ferguson from that 2005 patch all the way up to 2013.
And David Gill.
David Gill. Yeah, them two together. They actually kept the club afloat. They actually papered over the cracks. They maintained our standards and challenging.
Exactly what Gary Neville said.
Yeah, if Ferguson and that had gone earlier, we'd be even in a worse situation now, because this would have happened earlier, and now we would have seen the effects earlier. Now we're 9 years after Ferguson's left. We're really in a big rut. But it just goes to show how two people really kept that boat sailing. And after that, no one with the likes of a CV like Van Gaal, like Mourinho, and then obviously a player ability of Ollie that's tried coming in the club with a sentimental approach, hasn't been able to change things. And I'm not on about changing things in terms of people could say, yeah, but we still want a Europa League. We still want a Carabao Cup. I hear all that. And I understand that it's nice at the time, at that night, but the next morning you wake up and you realize the club is still ran like shit. I'm on about maintaining themselves consistently in the top 3, getting deep in trophies, getting deep into the Champions League, you know, getting the right players into the club, not just the big names that are 30, 31. Like, everything's just gone wrong with the values. And you know what? Yeah, it is so true that as much with the managers and the recruitment team we can talk about, someone said that a fish rots from its head, and that's the Glazers.
I think Musk came out and said that.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what? People know
Must. They love football as well.
Oh, that's it. Oh, must lot, yeah. And if you know like how this club is, I think Biz said it last week. Chelsea got sold for 4 billion, or whatever it was. They had about 100 people lining up making bids or trying to get consortiums together. Manchester United are global, probably double the size, like Biz said. We were bought for 600 million. I think the Glazers have now made 500 million out of us. If we were on sale tomorrow for 5, 6 billion or 7 billion, which we could definitely go more than Chelsea, we will have people lining up and we'll be sold tomorrow. But for now, we've literally got to sit and suffer. Chiellini said Ronaldo leaving Kate disrupted Juventus season as the season already started, and it would have been better if he left early in the window. Okay, it's not Chiellini then. I was talking about a Bonucci quote then.
What do you think about this then? Because Samuel Luckhurst actually called Sir Alex out the other day. And I looked at him like, wow, like, I think I said it straight away.
Was it like, oh, it's Monday Night Football against Liverpool, let's see if Ferguson does anything then?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It is mad interesting because, do you know what, Joey? Big up for that comment, yeah? Because I actually saw 2 weeks ago that Ferguson's got a promotion again in his role.
Yeah, he's part of the board, isn't it, now?
And he knows, he's one of the ones that knows the truth about a lot that's going on.
But
he was there when the Glazers come in.
Yeah, but then, I don't know, man. Like, I say it all the time, it's such a tricky one talking about
Bro, they're paying his wages.
Exactly. This is what Samuel Lucker said. Yeah, burning question for Monday Night Football is: will Ferguson ever speak out against the Glazers? He endorsed their ownership, leading MUFC on the path to destruction, and inflicted more damage by picking Moyes. He's now a club ambassador with a row of seats in the director's box. Warning signs were there as far as back as the summer of 2005 with frugal investments. Only United's recruitment hit rate went on a run. Van der Sar, Park, Vidic, Evra, Carrick. The team improving in 2006 became champions in 2007, and Ferguson assembled his third great side. Key turning point was 2009. Ronaldo and Tevez went. United hardly ever spent over £20 million on a buy, and Ferguson started signing duds. Owen, Obertan, Bebe, Juve. Ferguson also excused refusal to compete with clubs through spending with the no value in the market claptrap, which is also true. Because of the genius manager unbeatable challenges, United still finished first or second between 09-10 and 12-13. Then Ferguson picked Moyes, his second worst decision at United after the Rock of Gibraltar. Lack of leadership was exposed from top to bottom, and they're still lacking.
You know what? Hearing some of that in terms of them transfers, that we got rid of Ronaldo, sorry, Michael Owen, Valencia, and Juve. Oh my God, and Obertan. Oh, do you know what? I'm just checking your likes. Get this to 50 likes, people, by the way. We're on 43 likes. There's over 100 of you watching. Please support Statman Baines' channel. Smash the like button right now. If your thumb's not lit, please light it up and then subscribe to Chaffer Tunnel. That's where my content is as well. So come on, guys, hit the like button for Baines. Do you know what?
Just quickly, yeah. Joseph said the culprits are the Glazers and no one else. I think everyone agrees that the Glazers are the biggest problem kind of thing, innit? But then Samuel Lucker's point is Sir Alex enabling the Glazers, for example? Because if Sir Alex, let's be honest, if Sir Alex comes out and speaks against the Glazers, the entire fan base turns because Sir Alex has that much power.
Yep. He ain't doing it, Baines. No way. Not when they're paying his wages. There's too much to risk for him. To be honest, no, there's too much to risk for Sir Alex Ferguson because he's not pocketing his money anymore. For me, if you care about Manchester United and you know stuff that is actually going on or happened at the club, Ferguson, I'm sorry, you've earned enough money to say, do you know what? I'm going to make a difference for my legacy and for the future of this club by saying what I want to say and forgetting the money that I'm going to earn in the next 5 to 10 years, because you're not going to work that long anyway. You've earned enough, Ferguson. For me, if you care about the club like you do, you're the greatest manager potentially ever, the greatest manager this club will ever have. I would come out and expose and say that this club needs change. Once he does something like that, it then forces the board to then have these uncomfortable conversations, as we like to call it. And until then, we're not. And the only reason it potentially makes me feel like he won't is Ferguson got something to do with it? Is there little backhanders he's taken? Is there little side money he's taken? I'm not trying to say he has, by the way. Don't try and
he definitely gets paid by United. He's part of the board now.
But bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just putting it out there in terms of, how movies work and everything, but he could get a couple backhanded, a couple things in his back page, back pocket, sorry. You just don't know. So, like, at the end of the day, do I think change is coming? I don't, Bane, for the next few years at least. I feel like it's going to...
I'm going to ask you another question before... Let me answer this.
Something. Go on, you answer that. Go on.
Big up the Campbell life. He said, Fergie have to be part of the problem as people. We have to stop this sentimental crap. Rooney asked him when Ronaldo left who he's signing, and he wasn't having. Yes, he's a legend, but on a payroll. You can't argue with this. Like, you fully can't argue with what Campbell life said it. But there's no value in the market. That's what was all he said, isn't it?
Yeah.
But big up for the super chat. The next thing I want to ask you, though, is Ten Hag leaving the best thing that could happen to this football club? Leaving. Not getting sacked, leaving. Think about it now.
Nah.
Why?
If he leaves, do you know what it is? As much as people know how shit this club is run, we're still Manchester United, right? We've still got a few players that, can try and maybe do something and put something together. Still got Ronaldo still there currently at the club. I'll be honest with you. I just feel like we're that club that managers will be like, do you know what? I can go in there and make a difference. It's still Manchester.
But
I'll snap the chance up. So I just feel like Manchester United will go out and just hire Poch, and then Poch will be like, yeah, I'm happy to come. And it's like proofs in the pudding there. Poch is that sort of yes man. And then they'll get Poch because they always wanted him back in the day anyway. And they'll try and make an easy way to forget him. So I get what I'll hear what you're...
No, but in terms of, like, what I mean, like, people saying there's no better manager that they're available. That wasn't really, like, the point that I was trying to make. It was kind of like, let's be honest, everyone still backs Ten Hag right now, innit? 100% in his fan base. But would this not send out the biggest statement for the people above, the general public, that's it? If I'm a manager and I'm just come in and I'm leaving straight away, I'm not getting any money for leaving, by the way. I'm leaving on my own terms. Is that not the biggest statement that you can have?
Yeah, it would be a huge statement. It would be a massive statement. Obviously, telling that one of the best up-and-coming European managers or world managers in football has decided to leave the club, because I believe that out of everyone, he's the type of manager that's going to be the best for this project. Say again?
Perfectly said it. It's not about replacing him. It's the president Ten Hag leaving sets, which
cause
riots.
Which would cause riots. Yeah, I agree with it. Like, it's the best manager out there for us in terms of what he can bring. He has his standards very high. He wanted to come Manchester United, and the thing is about me, I believe in Ten Hag that he wants to be that face that wants to be the man that gets Manchester United back competing again. Like, I feel that's one of his internal challenges.
But I think that's every single manager that probably takes over.
Nah, it is. But
because you're the first manager after Sir Alex to win that with him.
I hear it, but I just feel like there's something in Ten Hag that he has so many options across Europe that I believe that he's really chosen Manchester United because he really wants to get this team back. And, he's seen the pain we've gone through. But I'll be honest with you, I think it would be a massive statement. Don't get me wrong. I think it would be a huge statement for Ten Hag to leave, because no one's really stood that firm and said, you know what? No, I am going to show that this club is run poorly. I just think that it'd be one of them ones where it's happened today and in 2 weeks' time, it's not news anymore. I just don't believe that the Glazers, they're not here. They're not feeling it. They're not breathing it. Like, I remember that reporter that was in Miami last year, and it's like, chasing him around the car park, and it's like he doesn't really care. I'm not saying it wouldn't have a statement. It would have a massive impact, Baines, but I just don't think that on the people you want it to have an impact on the most, it will. So on our fans, it will be huge. On journalists, it will be huge. In English...
Did you see what Tom McDermott said?
That I don't believe that.
So I don't know if he's like that reliable, because I'll be honest, I couldn't care less. But he came out and said about an hour ago, at this stage, Ten Hag is not thinking about leaving his position. But if things don't change, there's a feeling that he could ask to leave. And he also said Erik Ten Hag, despite the level of research he conducted before accepting the role, is said to be hugely surprised at what he's seen behind the scenes.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I think he has been surprised. Like I said, I've been told a few things, which is true. I think him and Murr have had a few disagreements on a couple of things, if I'm honest. I just feel like he will give it a season. If he's to leave, it's going to be next summer. It's not going to be this year. No way. Like I believe that we've got 3 players in that he wanted, which is Malacia, Eriksen, and Martinez. They're 3 players that he wanted. You could tell by the profiles of them already. We haven't got more in. He wants De Jong. He probably wants another forward. But even if he doesn't get them, I believe he wants to see what he can do with this football club. And if they fail, ultimately, really, really fail, and he walks away, it just highlights the club what mess we're in, because we had one of the best managers from Europe come in and he couldn't even implement or make many changes.
But then, is that not the worst possible time to then leave? Because say if he's flopped then and he's left, people are just going to be like, yeah, he weren't good enough. Anything.
Baines, we all know that this squad ain't good enough. No.
I hear that, but that's how, for example, the media are going to portray it in terms of he came in, he just say he finished 10th. That's not good enough for Manchester United. He's not up for the challenge. And then they'll obviously throw the same thing in terms of he was only managing in the Eredivisie. He's never managed at a big club outside that league.
If you was a journalist, would you write like Ten Hag failed?
No, it's not about what I would do.
No. I know. But I'm asking you, just answer what you would do. So with you,
now my headline will be United have continued to fail or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, whether these journalists write that crap or not, which I get it, people read and people read headlines. I believe that everyone in the comments right now here can admit that this Manchester United team is so poor that whatever manager probably comes into this football club right now, I'm talking even Pep or Klopp, right, doesn't make much of a difference right now with this squad we have. Yeah. So his hands are tied. So I do genuinely feel like if it was any other year and like Mourinho or the Van Gaal time, we finished 10th, yeah, they would be getting slaughtered because we still got some big names and we hold a bit of reputation, still won a couple trophies around that era. Now we're in 2022, we haven't won a trophy for nearly 6 years now. The bottom line for me is that this team is really not good enough. So it will just highlight that even more, that we need change and change at the top. So I kind of feel like with Ten Hag, even though he's struggling in the transfer market, even though he's struggling with the board, even though he's struggling with the players and the results, I don't want people to come at me. I don't want to call it a 3-hit season, Baines, but it kind of is a 3-hit season for Ten Hag because we know all the problems that are there and he's got to try and unravel them problems, fix them at the same time, and try and get Man United winning games. He's got an almighty job on his hands, and I feel sorry for him. So, I think, yes, I get it. People can blame Ten Hag for some of his team selection. Some people can blame Ten Hag and say, why don't they have a plan B and C and D for the transfer market and not getting these players? I get it. But, we've still got these players hanging around, and we've only sold 2 or 3 of them, and we've only left 4.
The Athletic, that 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗡𝗚 guy?
Yeah.
He wrote an article the other day saying Erik Ten Hag has been dealt a difficult hand. Now he must show he can adapt.
That's unfair, though, because if you sign for a club as a manager in April and you have agreements in place, or you have certain, conversations that make you take the job, because we don't know what these conversations are, but there's certain things that have been put in place, and then you're like, okay, I'll agree to take the job based on these conditions, and then you get there and these things aren't met. What does that do for the trust of you and the board and the manager? What does that do for your future planning? Because when you're agreeing something with a board and then you're prepping for that, we saw Ten Hag. Remember, are you taking a holiday? No, I'm preparing. I'm prepping for the season. He's done that based off everything everything that he's agreed with the board and the coaches or whatever. And he's coming to the club and some of these haven't been met. So I actually feel sorry for him because he's basically working with his hand tied behind his back to some extent.
Let me tell you something. You know that 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗡𝗚 guy?
Yeah. I know.
You know Rush to write his books?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You think?
Oh, he's there for help. Like, come on, man. You think Rashford ain't speaking to him sometimes?
It's an easy move to make. It's an easy move to make. What do you think about that one at the bottom? The comment there from Joey. Because obviously, big up Josh that came on my show yesterday. He was really saying, do you know what? I actually got problems with Ten Hag. So Yeah, check that on Trafford Tunnel if you guys get a chance after this show. It was yesterday's show from 27 minutes. He says, sorry guys, he came in and right away chose Maguire to be captain. You know, Mark said yesterday, Ten Hag had a chance to wipe the floor and have a clean slate. He didn't have to play McTominay and Fred. He could have played Garner, Van der Beek and made mistakes. He could have changed the captain, but at least he's starting clean. Do you think Ten Hag's gone wrong in some of them areas?
Yeah, but then I also said this, name me a captain.
Yeah, it's true. We're limited, obviously. Ronaldo weren't even here. De Gea is making mistakes, and Varane can't be trusted because of injuries.
Exactly. Like I said, there's not many viable captaincies out there. Like, the only one I can, like, people will probably say Bruno Fernandes, for example. In terms of he plays most games, he performed before kind of thing, even though he's not performing now. That's the only one, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I don't know, man. One sec. Let me answer the door, Baines.
Calm. Someone said what pisses me off was when that Frankie de Jong was breaking on the night. Lads with the FA Youth Cup to the gloss of the lads. The Frankie de Jong thing, like someone said it there, that apparently United pulled out. I said this, like, it's probably about time United pull out because you spent the entire summer chasing him. And let's be honest, we're clearly not moving anywhere with that saga. It seems like Bernardo Silva could go Barca, and it seems like Barca don't really have to sell at this point. Like, I swear Barca have registered all the new signings now. Or they registered a couple of them. Like, with Barca, Laporta, they're always going to find a way. Bruno's captain will be disaster. Exactly, like, I said this. If people are saying Ten Hag shouldn't have made Maguire's captain, which I agree with, don't get me wrong, like, there's no real solution to the captaincy. Like I said this, yeah. Like someone said, rotate the captaincy. As soon as you find the captain, then it's not rocket science. Maguire is a guaranteed L as a captain. He doesn't leave. I said this, and this is how Ralph said he done it in Germany, for example. He let the players choose. Let the players choose who the captain's going to be, and then you have obviously 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure City players used to do that as well or something. Just let the players choose. Because let's be honest, as a player, you are going to know the hierarchy in the dressing room. Naturally. And there's a hierarchy in most things. So I think that's probably the fairest way to do it. And if Maguire wins somehow again, flipping it, man, long day. But if he doesn't, then we have a better idea. But at the same time, like, Maguire will still get votes, and probably Ronaldo will get votes, because I'm guessing those two are probably going to be the main contenders. And then bang, there's another divide in the dressing room again, which you have seen for so long now. More like embarrassing not pulling out. Yeah. You can't pull out now. It's too late. If you don't get him, it's a horrible look. I hear that, but then now you could argue, like, we need to pull out because we need midfield enforcements. Like, at this point, yeah, what are we meant to do? Like, wait until the last day of the transfer when they're still chasing De Jong, and then if we don't get De Jong, we're left with no one. We can't do that because we know this team ain't good enough. No matter what, we need a midfielder to replace or to do the role that De Jong was meant to do in that 6th role, which Fred, from what we've seen so far, cannot do it. Eriksen, the other day, struggled in it. City start from players, vote top 5 captains, and then make the captain team. Yeah. Like, it makes sense. Big up Alien Tenor as well. Hendo number 1, Butterfingers, David De Gea in the bin. I said this, yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like David De Gea. Dean Henderson. But Dean Henderson is more of a modern day keeper, and his attributes fit what Ten Hag would want a lot more. But at the same time, like, can you really blame Ten Hag on this? Because Dean Henderson actually came out and said, I didn't even want a conversation with Ten Hag. I was out. I was like a caged animal at United. Like, he might have ruined his chances coming back to United, which is obviously a shame because he's still a half decent keeper kind of thing. But that's it now. He's not going to be a Manchester United player. And to be fair, like, he's doing his talking on the pitch. He's doing his talking on the pitch right now, because the first game, I know people blamed him for the goal and stuff, but he had a decent game because I watched that Forest game. And then the second game saved Declan Rice's penalty and had a relatively decent game. And from what I've heard from Forest fans, because I know a couple, they got Ben, they've been relatively happy with Dean Henderson. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest. I said it at the time. Dean Henderson slander, it is a bit forced, you know. It is a bit forced. Like, people overdo it sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he should be United's goalkeeper week in, week out kind of thing. But the way people act like he's a bad keeper because of what happened in that Liverpool game, for example, crazy.
Do you think he still has a future if he comes back and plays well for Forest this year?
No, but I said this. You see with Dean Henderson's comments?
You think he's burnt the bridge?
Yeah.
Fair.
But at the same time, like, to be honest, I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, just give him a run.
I don't think
don't get me wrong, he
I
had a
genuinely
small
don't
run.
think I don't think he's actually good enough, Baines. I think for Forest, because they have a lot of shots coming at them, because they obviously are not a top team in the Prem, you know, he gets to make himself look busy. I think when you're at Manchester United or you're at a top club, you're like Alisson, you're called into action a few times a game. You need to be ready for him a few times a game. I don't think Henderson is that guy.
Okay, let me flip it upward.
Okay.
I hear the shot stopping point, but claiming crosses, he still does.
He's okay, yeah.
No, but he does it better than, for example, David Gea. A lot better.
Yeah.
Like he's a calm keeper in that kind of thing, isn't it? 7 out of 10. And we even saw it remember when he played for United? Remember that game against Tottenham? He was brilliant. Remember City? When he started the counter, that came from him claiming across, I'm pretty sure. Distribution-wise, I think he's better than David Gea.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's, for example, Edison, Alisson levels kind of thing, because he ain't, but he's still competent.
Okay.
Shot stopping, I think he's competent. Like, don't get me wrong, he will make mistakes. It's natural, but he's still a relatively young keeper.
Let me ask you then. You look at Wan-Bissaka and you look at Dalot. People say, "Oh, Dalot's a right back because he's better than Wan-Bissaka," right? You're saying Henderson's better than De Gea, but does that mean they're good enough? That's the difference. I don't want better.
I hear that.
I want good enough, and I don't think Dalot's good enough, and I don't think Henderson's good enough. So what's your?
I'm 100% with you on that kind of thing, innit? But I've always said, like, he's a Premier League keeper, isn't it? Like a mid-table keeper, for example.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to need the Mike Maignan, for example, or Robert Sanchez, who I rate very highly, or a David Raya. But the way people write Henderson off like he ain't a Premier keeper is crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's definitely a mid-table Premier League keeper, yeah, but we need someone else. Big up
2001. So he said, "Call me crazy. I'm going to the Liverpool game. Long day. What would be a starting 11? We must change something. I'm saying 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. We've been having this discussion in the group chat as well. About the back three.
Yeah.
Go on.
I wouldn't mind seeing a back three, you know. I wouldn't mind it. The only reason I'm thinking, so I wouldn't mind seeing a back three because I think Martinez, by the way, even though he's getting a bit bullied and stuff, I actually think he's held it down. I think he's actually been quite solid, if I'm honest with you.
You know what it is with Martinez? He's a target, but he's not shocking. Like, no, he's not. He's competing.
He's competing. Yeah, he is. I think if I did play a back three, I'd obviously play Martinez. I'd play personally Martinez, Varane and Bailly. That's what I'd love as a back three. And I'd have Bailly on the right side, Varane in the middle, and Lisandro Martinez in the centre. And then I'll have Malacia as the left wing back, and I'll have Dalot as the right wing back. That's what I would like as a back five. We saw Palace a bit last night. We're quite successful. I think Manchester United can be successful there. The only reason I think we won't play a back three is because the injuries that Liverpool have got, it could be the perfect time to play them. I'm not saying that Liverpool are bad, by the way. They definitely should be beating us. But it just, you know how football works. We could just turn up and beat them. But yeah, we play a back three. I think, if we play a back three, I'd play, the front three could be very interesting. So I'd play Martial and either Rashford together as split strikers, or I'd play Bruno, Sancho, and Martial, and I'd have Rashford coming off the bench as maybe the pace outlet. But I do think that we could cause them some problems. I think if we do play a back three, I think Sancho and Martial need to play. So they're good on the break and in them tight positions.
Yeah, but on the break, you're not necessarily going to need a person that's good in tight positions.
Do you want Rashford there for the pace outlet?
Yeah, because
Ronaldo. I forgot about Ronaldo as well.
Realistic, it's a difficult one, man. Like, this is what I said in the group chat. I don't think, like, this is what I say. You see, with formations, I'm not that massively fussed about formations, kind of thing, innit? And I'm not really fussed about it with United. The reason I'm saying I'm not fussed is no matter what formation you play, no matter how Ten Hag tactically sets your team up, like, in terms of this team, are you winning a first draw? If you don't win that, are you winning a second one? If you don't win that, are you winning a third one? That's the biggest problem with the side. Like, it's not tactically at this point. Like, we can see, like, Ten Hag's not a bad manager tactically. Yeah. And I said this when I was talking with other people. My worry with this play or with this team right now is not the players struggling to pick up what Ten Hag wants. I knew that was going to take time. It's natural. That's going to take time. Whether it's a year, 3 months, let's be honest, preseason, it was ahead of schedule kind of thing, isn't it? From what we were seeing. but naturally it was going to take time. But what you can't excuse is, for example, players not tracking back.
Yeah.
That's not a tactical thing. And that's my biggest problem, which is why I said no matter what we do against Liverpool, it's attitude on the pitch, which is my biggest worry.
And don't you think as well, like, because Mark said an interesting point last night and the comments got booted off. Mark was like, I don't think we were actually that bad against Brentford. And a lot of people said they agreed. He actually didn't think that we were that bad against Brentford. But he was saying because when you look at the goals we conceded, the Brighton game, the Brentford game, they're all from stupid individual mistakes and errors. It's not like they've played great football and it's like, oh my God, have been torn apart. They've just scored from stupid individual errors that have just led to goals. It's not like we've actually been dominated like on the ball for 90 minutes. It's just that United were 4-0 down before they could get their engine proper started and the game's done. And I'm like, I hear it with some logic, but we were still shit. But I definitely understand that we weren't like, oh my God, as a team collective, we were super bad. We were just punched for De Gea's mistakes.
Okay, then. I'm fine with that.
Do you know what I mean?
You're talking about defensively and flip it up way. Going forward, what do we do?
But they didn't get a chance. The game was done.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like, fine, look at Brighton. What do we
Second half, we're a little bit better. But yeah, going forward, we were poor against Brighton. No outlet. We were poor.
Yeah. Like right now, the only success that we're trying to get is get the ball up wide, put a ball into Ronaldo. That's the only way I can see us scoring right now.
Can I ask you something before you wrap it up?
Go on.
It's a very good question. I put a clip out today. I don't know. I didn't put it on the clip. Josh was on yesterday. Yeah, big up Josh, does final score stuff for BBC. And he was talking about Ten Hag. And he was like, Ten Hag's been naive. He thinks he's got a lot of things wrong. And he was talking about it. It was very interesting. And he goes, let me ask the panel, Ty, what has Ten Hag done well since he came into the job? And everyone went quiet.
I'm not having that. That's harsh.
Okay. Yeah,
straight away,
he put the panel under pressure and everyone was a bit like, ooh.
Nah, you can't put me under pressure. No getting pressure for me. Authority.
Okay.
Like, say what you want, yeah? We got battered 4-0. There was no day off the next day. The players were back in training. Rightly so. They were punished for their crap performance. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because we question the players no more. The build-up structure has been slightly better. Or there's a clear build-up structure. Whether we can implement it, that's a different thing. But there's a clear build-up structure.
Yeah. I said, you know what? In regards to me, I said that I really like Ten Hag. I'm going to back him all the way. And he's the manager I'm most happy with. I think it was quite harsh to sort of say what's he done since he's come in, because I think it's hard for any manager to come in and make a big difference. I think straight away the authority, I said that. Discipline comes under the same thing. I actually said in regards to the football, you can see a clear style of play. And I said, whether it takes a year or 2 years to get that in place, at least we've got a manager now that's coming in and he's playing a certain way. And I said, look at the Brentford game. I said, look at the Brighton game. In terms of us losing to Brighton, losing to Brentford, he could be a manager that could say, do you know what? My football ain't going to work here. I'm going to have to adapt. I'm going to have to change it. The fact that Ten Hag is still going to be persistent and he's also going to keep teaching him his way of football, I love it, Baines. I love it because I don't care if we lose games. I want him to be strong. I want him to be determined like he has been. Get these players running. I don't care. Get them working. Get them feeling it. And also, don't go against what's got you this job. You've been successful at Ajax, Ten Hag, by playing your way. Getting these players. He didn't really like it at first, saying it's hard work. The trainings are now 2.5 hours instead of an hour and a half. Playing your football. Just because you've lost a few games, don't go against what got you there. Because as soon as Ten Hag starts to go like that and turns more fragile, that will mean the players giving up on him and starting to see cracks in him. He needs to stay strong because he is 100% the right manager. But discipline, style of play, man management already, having conversations with players like Rashford, Martial to keep him at the club and say that he believes in them. I think, we've got a great manager on our hands and I just hope that we don't fail him.
When was this? I can't remember this. Oli did the same thing about after Arsenal defeat in 2020. Did he?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but straight away there was a punishment in terms of they had to run 13.8 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Like I like Ten Hag for doing that kind of thing, innit? We said this like you start as you're meant to go on, kind of thing, innit? Even for example, remember when Ronaldo and the rest of the team left early against Rayo Vallecano?
Yeah, he named all of them.
He called them out.
Yeah.
Like, he don't get me wrong, to an extent, he backed the players in terms of he didn't single out Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
But he said all of them as a collective, they didn't do the right thing, and you're staying here until the end.
Yeah.
And I think we always say, like, small things will eventually turn into a big thing.
Step
like,
by
you
step.
have to make those baby steps kind of thing, innit? You have to get to discipline straight away.
Step by step. It's so funny as well because the attitude would change if we beat Liverpool and then we go to Southampton and win. And it's like, you know, things have turned around. We've just got to be patient. My show yesterday, Baines, was patience or pain. I said, if you're a Manchester United fan and you want best for this club, you're going to have to go with both because you're going to have to go through the pain. You're going to have to suffer more. There's going to be games like the weekend that happens. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we know that Ten Hag in the long run is going to have that patience. If we give him the patience, he's going to be successful. He's going to change the standards. He's going to change the football. He's going to change the mentality. He's going to slowly get rid of the players that we don't want at the club anymore and bring in his own. And it will go from there. Klopp didn't win his first season at all. He came 6th or 7th. Pep finished 4th in his first season. They were learning the Premier League, saying how physical and how demanding it is. And you have to sort of learn on the job in a sense. And Ten Hag is doing that right now. The only difference is between Ten Hag and Klopp and Pep is that Ten Hag's now come into a Premier League where Manchester United are in a poorer position than them clubs, or you could say Liverpool just as bad. However, the competition, Liverpool worse. However, the competition wasn't. The competition now in the Premier League is far superior. A lot of these teams
90+ points.
It's hard to get points. They already have a plan. They already have a manager. So it's hard to rebuild a team when you're coming into a league like this. So we've got to give them time and patience, Baines. We have to.
And there's over 100 people, 160 people watching. Make sure you guys like the video here.
Guys,
I wanted to answer this.
Like the video. Sorry, Baines. Like the video. Guys, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. It's 25 degrees. Me and Baines are giving you content. Obviously, we love you guys in the comments, but please respect it. Smash a like, smash a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to Baines and support the channel, man. Traffic tunnel down below for my channel in the description as well. But come on, guys, support the thing, man. If 160 of you are here, just smash that like. It causes it costs nothing, man.
And you see this point here about like Ten Hag change nothing at Ajax. Maybe not in terms of like style of play, because let's be honest, Ajax's model is still going to be there kind of thing, isn't it? But Ten Hag took over in 18-19, right? The season. 17-18, did they win the league?
No.
It was PSV. 16-17, did they win the league?
I don't know.
It was finals.
Okay.
15-16, did they win the league?
PSV?
Yeah. 14-15, did they win the league?
I don't know that far now. I was at uni.
PSV.
Wow, the PSV domination.
And 13-14, they won it.
Okay.
So they went, what, 3-4 years without winning a league before Ten Hag took over? So maybe in terms of like play, style of play, maybe not. But in terms of actual results, they improved under Ten Hag.
Yeah, 100%.
Because Ten Hag came in 18-19. They straight away got nearly 120 goals. Won the league. 19-20. Was loading. They won the league again. Oh, but that was obviously COVID season, so they could have won it, but their season got like, what do you call it, null and void, didn't it? 2021, they won the league, scored over 100 goals again, 88 points. And last season, obviously, they won it again under Ten Hag.
Yeah, proof.
Like, we still have to praise Ten Hag to an extent, whether people like it or not.
We have to. We have to. It's so interesting to see at the end of this reign if it's going to be a success or not. So I really, really hope it is. Pyramid Scheme's comments interesting. I know we've got to go in a set, Baines, but 307, he says, I'd say Erik Ten Hag is softer than I thought. Do you agree with that? I don't. If you saw what he done on Sunday, I definitely don't agree. In terms
you know what I think Pyramid Scheme means?
Do you think in
on
terms
the pitch, team selection, for example?
Okay.
But, okay, you can criticize them. As I said, Ten Hag needs to see the players. Ten Hag wasn't in the Premier League where he's keeping an eye on Manchester United, for example. He was in the Eredivisie. He's focused on his own competition. So can you really blame him?
Do you know what? I wish Pyramid Scheme, if you could quickly elaborate on what you mean, because I was thinking in terms of softer than I thought. I thought potentially was going to be talking about him being outspoken in terms of the transfer market, because you like that comment here. Like when you look at Rangnick was like we need 7 to 10 players. I just don't believe that a manager can come in his first summer and start calling out a lot of things. I think it's really, I think it's really a touchy subject. And on top of obviously being being out there and outspoken. You've also got your own problems that you need to sort out within house anyway. He said that the belief was lacking in the players, self-confidence, belief. You then got to try and sign players. You then got to get results. You then got to deal with this whole new board that don't operate like Ajax. I just think Ten Hag's come into a bit of a whirlwind and he's got a lot going on.
And he's surprised by it.
And he's surprised by it. 100%.
Because let's be honest, like
100%.
Every single person comes to the club and is surprised about how far we behind. Ronaldo or Ralph, they came in, they were like, "Raw."
Yeah.
With that much of a mess.
That much of a mess. And Rangnick was the only one thinking, do you know what? I'm only here for 6 months. I can say what I like. They're probably going to get rid of me anyway. He probably had a feeling that they were going to get rid of him. Big up Saeed as well. That's so weird. We both said that.
This here, definitely team selection for you. Bury some of these man. He's never playing.
And do you know what? Just quickly, this is one of my gripes, yeah. And I love Ten Hag, like I said, but we still got to be open to criticizing him because he has got some things wrong. Against Brentford, I clearly put a tweet out there saying before this game, we need to have some physical players in there because we are going to struggle. He had a clean slate from the start of this season. You start the first game of the season with McTominay and Fred. I don't know how you've played pre-season. I've seen these players and I think that's the best pair. The only reason I gave him an answer for saying maybe playing them was Van der Beek came in and he didn't really light it up when he played in the pivot. And he probably thought, well, this was my best pairing over the holidays or the pre-season, so I've got to play them because I haven't got a midfielder. But then to make them changes against Brentford, to play Eriksen in a false 9 and then drop him into defensive midfield as the number 6, completely the other end of the spectrum, I thought was a poor move. I get it. Brentford, he knows the club, but play Eriksen where his qualities are in the final third of the pitch. So I just think selection-wise, he's getting it wrong a little bit, and I'll give him time to learn and adapt. But I don't want then him to become stubborn and naive because that's going to cost him in the long run. Because he did have
criticized. Ajax fans have criticized him before for that.
For his man, and his subs making him too late. So Ten Hag, like, you're not inexcusable. There are some things that you are learning. I will allow you to learn. I get it.
But I've said this,
but
like you see with managers, no matter who the manager is, there's always going to be some decision that you disagree with.
Yeah.
And only time will tell if it's the right thing. For example, remember Henderson at Klopp, under Klopp? Yeah. Like people were like, yo, why is Henderson playing? Remember all of that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he won Player of the Year in 1920, was it?
Yeah, I think it was 1920, yeah.
And he's been, let's be honest, like, if you don't like Henderson, if you like Henderson, he's been a pivotal part to this success.
He's been a solid servant, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The best part about it, guys, is I'm not worried in terms of these players playing shit. And the bottom line is, for me, they play themselves out the side. I said it already. If Maguire's not starting and we were losing, if McTominay was not starting and we were losing, everyone will be saying on the media, oh, you know, this is why they should play Maguire captain and this is why McTominay should play and stuff like that because he wears his heart on his sleeve. No. McTominay, you've played, you've been shit. You didn't start last game. Maguire, you know, you were lucky to not even give away a goal and get a red card in that Brentford game. Other players that have been poor, Luke Shaw been bang average. I expect changes for this Liverpool game, and that's what I'm excited about. Again, I was excited for the Brentford team. I'm even more excited for this Liverpool team. 2 games, 2 defeats, technically no goals scored. Baines, there's no excuses for Ten Hag. He's got the license now to play who he wants. Perfect.
Someone said Henderson's the worst player in the 11 for Liverpool ever either. Now it's a bit different in it because Henderson's obviously aging and stuff, but there was a point where Henderson was a decent footballer. Now, don't get me wrong, he was overrated in terms of maybe by the general public in terms of they wanted him to win Player of the Year. But you still a calm, solid player for them. And that's all that you're fine with that kind of thing, isn't it? But anyway, let's wrap this up. Anything else you want to say before you go?
Yeah, big up everyone that's watching. Please smash the like button, subscribe to Statman Baines, keep supporting the channel. Tomorrow, me, Statman, and Biz are on tomorrow. I think Biz is message saying he's got work, so we're going to have to do an earlier show, potentially, if you're free.
Biz running from the grind.
Biz running from the grind again. But guys, yeah, please subscribe to Trafford Tunnel down below. It's in the title. Never a Foul as well is our generic channel, which is all football content as well. And I'm on Saeed's channel tomorrow, actually. So Saeed's at 5 o'clock, and then I'll be on with Baines, but I don't know what time, so just keep your eye out, man.
Calm. Big up everyone for watching. Make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts. And I'll probably be back tomorrow won't be a live stream, it'll be a video in it, but we'll see what happens. Big up everyone.